So just what exactly is field artillery? Well, keep your shirt on, because I'm getting there. Now, the word artillery applies to any contraption meant to hurl a large projectile from point A to point B. Now, back in ancient times, artillery came mainly in the form of machines like catapults.
Around since 400 BC, this artillery mainly hurled huge rocks at fortresses.
But artillery got a big upgrade with the development of the cannon. Kaboom!
A cannon is basically a tube with deadly intentions. Inside, there's a projectile. Behind that is gunpowder. Light it, and the explosive force shoots out the projectile.
It was first developed back in the 1200s by those gunpowder gurus, the Chinese. Gunpowder cannons caught on in Europe in the 13th and 14th century.
The first European cannons were made out of cast iron and fired stone cannonballs that were loaded down the barrel. After you loaded your gunpowder, this, my little darlings, is called a charge. Bingo.
It wasn't long before cannons of all shapes and sizes were popping up all over the place. Thunder sticks that were mobile enough to be moved around the battlefields quickly became known as, you got it, field artillery, which can be broken down into 3 basic types.
The gun, a long-barreled weapon with a generally flat trajectory. The howitzer, its shorter barrel can be angled to change the flight trajectory. Finally, we have the mortar. It has a very short barrel and fires rounds at extremely steep angles. Early-style cannons like the 3- and 6-pound field guns play a big part in American history, helping us to win the Revolution and Mexican-American Wars. By the time the Civil War rolled around, field artillery was more mobile and reached further. Cannons like the Napoleon and the Parrott gun helped the North win. Thanks to the Industrial Revolution, artillery design made some big advancements. It was getting easier to load, and with recoil under control, it was more accurate more often. Time now to leap to a new century and a new type of artillery.
All right, kiddies, it's time for your next lesson. It's all about the howitzer.
It's a type of cannon that can be angled to shoot different trajectories. Its big strength is that it's versatile. It can be a straight shooting gun, a high lobbing mortar, or anything in between. And one little howitzer in particular represents a breakthrough in the battlefield. 1927, M1A1, Pack Howitzer. Range 9,760 yards. Bore, 75 millimeter. When it comes to field artillery, mobility is everything, and that's where the Pack 75 comes out on top. The gun and its carriage break down into parts that can be carried in packs by mules, hence the name. It's the first artillery piece that can be delivered where it's needed by parachute.
The airborne divisions ate it up.
The Pack 75 got a slice of the action in the Battle of the Bulge. At Bastogne, it took out 8 enemy tanks, helping to win the battle.
Now, if you know anything about the Battle of the Bulge,
then you'll know that it was really cold.
Even the squirrels had trouble keeping their nuts warm.
So in a tribute to Bastogne, gun collector Bob McBride picks one hell of a Colorado morning to show me how the pack works.
What was the desired targets?
Mostly buildings, observation posts, infantry in the open, occasionally tanks.
And it packs a hell of a punch, too.
That's correct. This thing is going to really light up the target down there when we hit it.
Where is the target down there? I can't hardly see it.
Well, it's somewhere down there in the snow.
Well, what I think we should do is go ahead and shoot the damn thing.
All right, why don't we do that?
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna load it. Okay, we're ready to rock and roll. 3, 2, 1.
All you lounge lizards out there in your nice, comfy armchairs better appreciate the lengths that we're going to recreate the Battle of the Bulge.
You hit something.
I heard it hit.
I heard it hit, too. That's definitely a kill shot, Gunny.
We definitely got him.
Field howitzers like the PAC-75 have served our boys well. But today's howitzer is a lot bigger and a lot smarter. 2005 M777 Field Howitzer. Range up to 25 miles. Bore 155 millimeter.
Fire mission! Fire mission!
This weapon has solutions for every problem that field artillery has ever faced.
Shell HE! Shell HE!
It's made out of titanium, one of the lightest and toughest metals around.
Deflection tree 255.
Deflection tree 255.
At just over 9,000 pounds, the Trip 7's a breeze to tow behind a truck, making it extremely mobile. Usually crewed by 7 men, it is still breech-loaded manually.
Stand by. One. Fire.
But here's the big breakthrough. No one can hide from it. It's the first smart gun using GPS to lock onto any target within its 25-mile range. I want you to meet Staff Sergeant Eric Lewinsky.
I hear that this is so high-tech that it's almost intelligent.
It is to a certain degree. It still needs that human factor to help load and fire it, Gunny, but for the most part, it is a very intelligent weapon system. It knows where it's at and where it's going to.
Fire. Even though the new Trip 7 is cutting edge, there's no question about top of the line. There's some things that never change, and it's this right here. There you go. They still have to swab it out each and every time before they stick that next powder bag in there.
To lob a shell at a bad guy on the other side of a mountain range, you need some eyes up front. That would be the forward observer. He relays coordinates to the command center. It tells the gun crew the coordinates, the elevation, the type of round, the charge, and how many rounds to shoot. There is absolutely no guesswork with today's artillery.
What say we kill something, Staff Sergeant?
Hoorah, Gunny. Stand by. One. Fire.
Steel downrange, that's what it's all about.
Of course, this is only a practice. But in the heat of battle, these Marines can get up to 8 rounds a minute downrange. Its single 155 millimeter high explosive projectile will take out bunkers, bridges, small buildings, and any damn thing else you want took out downrange with no mistakes. And that's a very big change. Hoorah! As a piece of field artillery, the M777 might seem darn near perfect. But even something as sweet as this still has one major drawback. It takes a whole 20 minutes to pack up and go. That's a heck of a long time for the Trip 7 crew to be setting ducks. It would be a darn sight safer if it could just shoot and scoot.
There used to be an old TV show called Have Gun Will Travel. This next piece of artillery has a gun and it travels just fine under its own power. It's called self-propelled artillery.
The present Paladin self-propelled howitzer. Range 19 miles. Bore 155 millimeter. Like the lead character in that old show, it's named after legendary French warriors, the Paladin Knights of Charlemagne. This Paladin may look like a tank, may move like a tank, but don't be fooled, it isn't a tank. Tanks are designed to go into the heart of the battle, working up close and personal. The Paladin is a long-range artillery piece through and through.
She's not a frontline weapon, but she doesn't have to be. Her range keeps her in the rear. But the Paladin provides exactly the kind of heavy fire support that every dog-face loves to have at his back.
I'm meeting up with Lieutenant Colonel Terry Ivester. He handles a Paladin better than Mrs. Gunny handles a car. Sorry, hon.
The maximum range of this weapon system is 30 kilometers, reaching out and putting warheads onto the enemy's foreheads.
See, that's the maximum effective range?
Every time I shoot Gunny, it's effective.
I like that. Oh, yes.
The Paladin is fully networked. It receives target information from the command center, which is fed directly into the onboard computer. Like the M777, the Paladin fires a 155 millimeter round and is GPS assisted. But that's where the comparison ends.
This howitzer has the capability of keeping up with the maneuver forces. Should they make contact with the enemy and we have to conduct an indirect fire mission, we stop, we fire on the target, and then before the enemy can even acquire our rounds, we got the gun tube and travel lock, and we're moving, catching back up with the forces.
Cruising along at a zippy 35 miles an hour, the Paladin has the speed and mobility to get away from return fire.
But now that you know a little bit about this weapon system, Gunny, how would you like to take it for a ride and let's shoot some missions?
You know, that's exactly what I was going to come around to asking you about, but I was a little shy. I'm just a shy individual. What I really like to do is I like to cruise around and blow stuff up, you know?
For all its high-tech GPS computer-assisted targeting and fire control,
Fire mission!
the Paladin is breech-loaded the same good old-fashioned way, by hand. Every time you fire a round, the enemy can zero in on your position and fire back. So you don't want to waste a lot of time getting the heck out of Dodge. The Paladin can throw metal at the enemy and be gone in 60 seconds. Remember how only a couple of 100 years ago a 3-pound cannon had a range of 400 yards? This baby can strike a target nearly 20 miles away. Now that is 88 times further. But if you thought the self-propelled Paladin was the last word in this kind of firepower, have I got a big surprise for you. Time for a sneak peek at the future of field artillery, a weapon that takes human error out of the firing equation.
There's a system so new, it's still got the tags on it. The non-line of sight cannon.
2012 non-line of sight cannon. Range 25 miles. Bore 155 millimeter. Hitting a battlefield near you in 2012, the NLOSC, as the boys at the firing range like to call it, incorporates every technological advancement ever made in field artillery. Here to introduce it at Arizona's Yuma Proving Ground is Lieutenant Colonel Bob McVeigh.
And it's a thing of beauty.
Absolutely.
Now, I've already shown you how the M777 and the Paladin take a whole bunch of soldiers to fire them. Well, the NLOSC has a crew of just 2, because most of the grunt work is done by computers and robots. Even the ammo is loaded by machinery.
One of your guys receives a firing mission. What goes on from that point?
The network sends down a fire mission to the gun, and before the crew ever even sees the mission, the gun makes the assessment with one of its computers whether or not it's got the right ammunition, it's in the right position, and can service the target. If the gun says, I'm good to go, I can fire this, it passes it to the commander of the vehicle, and he makes the final decision on firing it.
Even more amazing, this gun has eyes in the skies, combat drones, which tell the NLOSC what